Number 3 is Oz. This movie is about a magician who lands in Oz from a tornado. There, he meets multiple witches, but falls in love with all of them. This clip shows the Witch of the North when she finds out she is being cheated on.
Yeah.
Oz is at number 3 because I don't know if you could tell, but she was crying tears of fire. She wasn't just being cheated on by one other girl, but with 2. Even though cheating isn't as bad as dying, it's still really sad. I feel like the fire tears really showed her pain. Hidden Figures is at number 2. This movie is about 3 African American women who work for NASA. One of them, named Catherine, has an angry boss who wonders where she goes every day, and it will be explained in this clip.
There's no bathroom for me here. There's no bathroom for you. There is no bathroom. There are no colored bathrooms in this building, or any building outside the West Campus, which is half a mile away. Did you know that? I have to walk to Timbuktu just to relieve myself. And I can't use one of the handy bikes. Picture that, Mr. Harrison. My uniform, skirt below my knees, my heels, and simple string of pearls. Well, I don't own pearls. Lord knows you don't pay colors enough to afford pearls. And I work like a dog, day and night, living off of coffee from a pot none of you want to touch. So, excuse me if I have to go to the restroom a few times again.
I put this at number 2 because this movie is actually based on a true story. I don't think any of my other ones are. I feel like Catherine was really passionate and made people understand what life was like. This clip was really sad, and I feel like it deserves to be at number 2. Before we move on to number 1, I'm going to show some honorable mentions. There were some that I would have added, but I couldn't find the clips, and if I did, then they were bad quality. I'm going to show those ones on the screen now, and then I will show you some more honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is Wreck-It Ralph. This movie is about a guy named Ralph. In his game, he is the bad guy. In a mission to become good, he meets a glitch named Vanellope, who wants to be a racer. Ralph talks to someone named King Candy, who says if she races, people will think the game is broken, and it will go out of order.
I've been thinking,
That's dangerous.
who cares about this stupid race anyway, right?
It's not very funny, Ralph.
No, I'm serious, and it was really fun to build the car and everything, but maybe you shouldn't do it.
Hello? Is Ralph in there? I'd like to speak to him, please.
Look, what I'm saying is you can't be a racer.
What? Why would you... Wait a minute.
This movie didn't make the final cut because her game didn't actually go out of order, and I feel like there's sadder things than a race car, but it was her dream, and I do think it was sad, but I just don't think it was sad enough to make the final cut. Second honorable mention is Love, Simon. This movie is about a kid who is secretly gay. He finds someone else like him and they begin to email each other. Their emails get leaked by someone who is blackmailing Simon. Simon tells the person who he was emailing. This is what happens.
I saw the posts. I know who you are. Jacques That's what they call Simon Says in France. Very clever. Sorry, Simon. I can't do this anymore.
Please, Lou.
So sorry.
You can't leave me alone. Everything's falling apart.
I do think this clip was sad, but everything was happy in the end. It didn't make the final cut because I did add it at the last minute. Even though this moment was really hard for Simon, I think other things may be sadder. The last honorable mention is Moana. This movie is about Moana's mission to save her island. She meets someone along the way named Maui, who is a demigod and helps her sail. The mission was difficult, but toward the end, this happens.
We can fix it.
It was made by the gods. You can't fix it.
Next time we'll be more careful. Tikal was stuck on the barrier island. It's lava. It can't go in the water. We can find a way around.
I'm not going back.
We still have to restore the heart.
My hook is cracked. One more hit, and it's over.
Maui, you have to restore the heart.
Without my hook, I am nothing.
That's not true.
Without my hook, I am nothing.
You're only here because you stole the heart in the first place.
We're here because the ocean told you you're special and you believed it.
I am Moana of Motunui. You were born my boat.
Goodbye, Moana.
Sail across the sea.
I'm not killing myself so you can prove you're something
And
you're
restore
not.
the heart of Timbiti. The ocean chose me.
You chose wrong.
Moana is an honorable mention because although I do think that this scene was very sad, I feel like there's other sadder things than just not restoring the heart. Even though it could have saved people, everything was solved at the end, and I feel like number 1 is sadder than this one. Number 1 is Big Hero 6. Baymax Hero and his new friends follow a villain who is trying to take over Hero's invention. They eventually stop him, but there's an active portal. Baymax and Hero go into the portal to save a test pilot, but this is what happens inside.
My thrusters are inoperable.
Just grab hold.
This is number 1 because Baymax was actually created by Hero's older brother who died at the beginning. So letting go of Baymax is like letting go of his brother too. And Baymax was his closest friend because of how close he was to his brother. So I feel like that's very sad.